What's up, everybody? I hope you guys are having a great day. And, well, we know Sledgehammer Games is in charge of Modern Warfare 3 and its development. And if there's anything that we should be excited for when it comes to Sledgehammer working and designing this game for us, is that they actually do listen to the community. Now, I know Sledgehammer Games has never been really well received by the community in its original World War II game. The original World War II Call of Duty game, designed by Sledgehammer, it was the first one to introduce loot boxes, which I know the community just hates. But it was also the first one to implement a social space, which is a feature that I will stand on this hill by myself if I need to, but I think it is so underappreciated in gaming, especially coming from putting my business hat on. If you want to sell more skins, we have a social space and everyone is wearing this cool skin and I'm the odd one out, I'm way more likely to go in and buy that skin. As a community, I know we don't want me to say that, and I get it. I don't want to have to feel that sense of FOMO, but within Destiny, that social space at the tower for events and stuff like that, it just makes the game feel more it makes it feel like more of a world that we're going to explore than just an experience of us just going in and shooting some guns and then leaving. But if we fast forward to the previous Call of Duty title before this one, we have Vanguard, and that game was for sure not loved by the community. However, Sledgehammer did add dead silence, they tweaked some things, and really just made the game mechanically sound. And I think if we look back at Vanguard, we just don't like the setting that it was in. Everything else about the game wasn't that bad, and it instilled faith in me that even if Sledgehammer doesn't come out swinging and knock it right out of the park the first time around, they're going to make the changes, and by 3, 4, 6 months into the game's life cycle, it's going to be in a much, much better place. Now, I want to talk about some changes that could happen from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3 to turn the ship around. And let's start with Vanguard, because there's not a lot of things that I go back into Vanguard and say, that was a good decision. But with this one, we got to, because we got to talk about combat pacing, which allowed you to have these 6v6 or 4v4 map be playable with 8v8, 10v10, 12v12. For somebody who likes the camo grind like me, this was fantastic to play a smaller map with just a poop ton of people on it. And granted, I don't think combat pacing was perfect. There was definitely some times where you would say you would want more people, but it would force you down. And I think just because of the player pool or the player size that it had at the time. But I would rather have this in the game than not, if that makes sense. So even if it's not in the game, I don't think it's a deal breaker. But damn, was that not a good design within Vanguard? Looking back at it, that was great. And speaking of the camo grind and me enjoying the camo grind, if we're going to look back at Vanguard and say, hey, that was a good decision, we go back and say, hey, please, for the love of God, Sledgehammer, don't do this in the next game. And that is force people to change the playstyle that they have to have in order to unlock the camos, meaning that we all know that in Sledgehammer, every gun was max level 70 with a poop ton of attachments. And for some of the camo grinds, it forced you to have certain attachments on the gun, which I think led to some bugs, because there were months where the game didn't even track your camo grind, even if you had all the attachments right. But by forcing people to put certain attachments on the gun, you're changing their playstyle on how they want to play the game. And I don't think that's ever a good decision. Sometimes I get it, having long shots sometimes puts you in a weird spot, but it is completely different than changing the barrel, sight, and magazine for a gun. However, I would like to say one thing that Vanguard absolutely, without a doubt, crushes Modern Warfare 2 on is the detailed numbers on the attachments, because I have lost count on how many attachments have helped with horizontal and vertical recoil, but slow down aim down sight speed, aim down movement speed, or sprint to fire speed. We really have no clue what these values mean, and we just have to use this arbitrary chart and hope it gives us the right answer, even though truthfully it's never really that accurate. And I'm not sure why Infinity Ward is afraid to give us detailed stats. I have a theory. It's because they actually don't know either, and they just want to do it for the optics. Meaning, we're going to say that these attachments help with X, Y, and Z, and we're going to give you a fancy graph to show it. But in reality, we have no clue if it's actually helping at all. But if we look back at Sledgehammer and Vanguard, it gave us detailed stats that went into the decimal spot. And we even know that Sledgehammer had to cut their work on Vanguard short to work on Modern Warfare 3. So they were able to give us that amount of detail with a shortened time frame. Now they've worked on Modern Warfare 3 for roughly, I feel like, the same amount of time as they've been working on Vanguard. I have some pretty high expectations actually for Sledgehammer. Now, I genuinely think this actual one change could just save Call of Duty outright, and that is the utter removal of skill-based matchmaking from public matchmaking. We all know Call of Duty has this manipulative algorithm to where the last game or towards the end of the night, it's going to feed you some good games to make you feel good. And when you start to feel good, you start to feel like you're playing better than average, it's going to put you at the CDL's finest and remind you that you're shit. In a non-ranked game, you shouldn't have to go balls to the wall just to break even. And in my ever so humble opinion, I think this is where I'm going to do some like armchair quarterbacking from a dev's POV, but public games should be purely connection based. There should be no skill based matchmaking in a public based game mode. But once you choose to queue into a ranked game, then crank skill-based matchmaking up to 11. Am I scaring you guys over at the studios? I'm sorry. It's called common sense. Public matchmaking should be based off connection, while ranked should be based off someone's skill. I know, it's crazy. Because I assure you, my real friends, the ones who have real jobs, the ones who don't worry about making content, the ones who don't want to stream, don't have a care in the world, can't stand that you have to go on in every game, you have to play your absolute heart out to maybe break even. It's just not fun. And that's what gaming is supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. But if we keep going back and look at what some of these other titles did right, if we look at Cold War, one thing that I would love to see added into Modern Warfare 3 is a prestige shop. And the prestige shop was a way and a system that rewarded players for well prestiging. And every time that you get prestige, you get prestige tokens that you can thus get rewards like emblems, calling cards, and even weapon blueprints. And I think we have to give credit where credit is due. Within Modern Warfare 2, they've done a pretty good job of giving us ways to earn skins, whether that be a limited time event, completing raids on difficulty, or watching the CDL. I have to say that Modern Warfare 2 has done a good job of giving us some really good, interesting looking weapon camos without having to break out the credit card. And I do think that that in itself instills good faith within the community. But I truly think that instilling good faith into your community is something that needs to be done by any business, and it necessarily can't always be tracked on paper on a numerical value of the benefits of it. I don't think this is a wild statement to say, but Modern Warfare 2 has fairly lost a lot of its goodwill with its creators by flying them out for their feedback, just to ignore it, to the devs just being radio silent with its community. It's really not a shocker why people have lost their faith in Infinity Ward. I mean, they seemingly said, we're gonna make the decisions on our games based on how we want the games to play, not on how you want them to play. And while I can understand that a little bit, maybe just Call of Duty isn't the right game or IP for Infinity Ward to be developing. And this may be the hottest take of this whole video, but if they want to focus on the optics and not really give us detailed stats or detailed information, fire Joe Seacott. Take him out of the leadership position. It's obvious that with his leadership, you guys have put Modern Warfare 2's name into the ground and it's lost any and all value. So truthfully, I would say wipe out everybody in the leadership position over at Infinity Ward, or give them a new game to develop. If you like the people, if you like the leadership there, then let them do what they did to Modern Warfare 2 to another game. But get them out and remove them completely from Call of Duty. Because we need communication. If we look at other studios and other games like, well, X-Defiant, that's rumored to be coming out right around the corner, Mark Cuban, the top dog over there, will personally respond on Twitter, or the app formerly known as Twitter, on the beliefs, on the behaviors, on why the decisions are being made over there, and just being very transparent. And by doing so, instilling a ton of good faith over on the X-Defiant side of things, which is a game that we are going to be playing live on kick.com/Elrod whenever that does drop. Sorry for the shameless plug, but I think it's safe to say, as Call of Duty fans, that we want to have fun. We want a game that makes us feel rewarded for learning the mechanics and rewarding us for trying to get better, not punish us for it. I get it. Not every COD player is going to be a ranked sweat demon lord. I get it. Some people want to queue under hardcore and just play hardcore, which is the least competitive game mode, and that's totally fine, because guess what? I want you to have fun. I want you to have fun, and I want you to feel like you're having fun in a game that's rewarding you for learning the mechanics, not sitting in a corner holding a lane and getting all your kills that way. No one has fun with that. But I think that's where we're going to wrap up today's video. Let me know down below, what are 3 things that you would implement into Modern Warfare 3 to turn the ship around for Call of Duty? I will be responding to all your comments, so leave me some good ones down below. If you liked the video, you found anything insightful, please leave me a like and subscribe. We're on our way to 500 subscribers, and trust me, I really do feel every new amigo that joins this community. And if you have a friend that loves the game and wants to stay caught up in Call of Duty, X-Defiant, or any other FPS that I'm really just into, share this video with them. And as always, I challenge you guys, make somebody laugh today, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.